Hello and welcome to Battle Camper. Battle Camper is the YouTube channel in which we undertake ambitious road trips around the United Kingdom and Europe whilst trying to complete equally ambitious hobby projects from the back of a micro camper van. However, we are currently confined to quarters because of the coronavirus, so I'm trying to find things to fill my time with. And today I've decided to fill my time by talking about a plastic stick. Well, actually, it's what looks like a plastic stick, but on closer inspection, you will realise it is in fact it is a plastic stick, but it's a plastic stick with the word Citadel printed on it, which of course means that it comes with a price tag. And I'm going to talk about whether or not you should bother spending £12.95 on a plastic stick. My answer, surprisingly, is yes, probably. And here's why. So this is called the Citadel Spray Stick. Of course, most people achieve this by going out and finding a piece of wood or metal or a plastic lid or anything they can find around the house, and they simply blue tack the miniatures to it, and they spray paint them up. So given that, you'd expect it to be quite a hard sell, given that this is just a lumpy stick, and if I found this by the side of the street, I would put it straight in the bin. So what do you get in the box when you buy a Citadel Spray Stick? Well, you get this, which is a kind of flat surface with notches along each side and a hole at either end. You also get this, which is a handle that sticks into the hole at either end. And you get a bag of elastic bands, and they can be placed around the notches to secure your miniatures. Now, does it actually secure your miniatures? Here is a precious miniature. It has both got one of the flimsiest pieces of plastic in all of wargaming, and it's also a hard to replace mini. And therefore I'm placing a lot of faith in this stick not to drop this miniature. So what you're meant to do is you place the miniature underneath the elastic bands, which I must admit can be a fiddly point. The noises were unnecessary. And then you can see that the miniature is secure with its base strapped in with two elastic bands. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty secure. You certainly couldn't have done that if that was just blue tacked onto the end of a piece of stick. A piece of stick. Here's me using the stick earlier in the wild just to prove that it happens. I've used it about 6 times now and I haven't had to replace the elastic bands, and there's little sign that it's going to become so gunked up with spray that it will be unusable. I'm sure that it will happen eventually, but it's happening so slowly that I'm confident it will make its money back, gunkification notwithstanding. So, a flawless experience then? Well, not quite. I was so impressed with the stick's performance that I'd forgotten to account for my own. I have lost one of the blade guard. I can't find it outside, I can't find it inside, I just know that it's not on the stick. So while I was testing to see whether the stick was secure, I forgot that I didn't glue down the bases because it's meant to be snap fit, which was obviously an incredibly stupid thing to do. So my smugness was promptly rewarded with a model in the sink, which is where I recovered it, covered in coffee grounds. Now, some nice features about this. Obviously, the elastic bands can go anywhere up the stick. As long as the base isn't so wide that it doesn't fit between the spokes, then you can move the elastic band up as far as you want in order to fit them in. So, for example, here is a bike from the Indomitus box set, and that is also nice and secure. Equally, it will do very small bases. So this is a BX Commando droid from Star Wars Legion. Now, for this, what I would do is simply move the elastic band up so that they are both between the same pegs to create the smallest possible gap. And there we go. So a range of bases fit right up to a width of 65mm. That's the widest base that you can fit on one of these sticks, which is pretty healthy, and it's going to support most wargaming systems. Another really nice little feature of this is that you can unclip the stick and stick it on the other side. So if you're spraying with you've got a can in your right hand, you're spraying with your left hand, you do this side of the models, and then instead of kind of twisting your hands over and crossing them like that, you can simply unclip. You can simply unclip. You can simply unclip and simply reclip. Smooth, as smooth as ice. It's normally easier than that. But I'm not going to airbrush history, that's staying in. I could cheat it with the edit, but that's not what I'm about. So originally when I bought this stick, I was very skeptical. I wanted something that I could use to spray paint when I was out and about, hobbying on the road in the camper van. And anyone who's watched my Glastonbury and Cheddar trip, secondly, you'll know that I spray painted up in a muddy field in the middle of winter out near Glastonbury Tor, and I was able to do that without destroying any of my miniatures, which was a big success. So whilst I was sceptical about this, I was sceptical about buying a stick for £12.95. I'm actually very relieved that I did. I think it was a really good investment. I certainly won't go back to anything else, because I have dropped far too many models from the end of a lump of blue tack on the end of a stick, and now it is time for me to move on to something a little bit more sophisticated. I don't blame you if you want to stick with blue tack on a stick. I think that it is a big ask for someone to drop more than a tenner onto a spray stick solution. However, for me, this just gives me a little bit of peace of mind. Thank you very much. Please do come back if you want more inane rambling about plastic soldiers and their associated gubbins. And if you do, as a reward, I promise that future videos will have less of me and more of the cat in, just to reward your very kind support. Thank you.